Good morning, gang. Good morning. Welcome back to this week's Bitcoin update. First and foremost, remember, nothing discussed today is financial advice. This is just for educational purposes, and it's my view of the markets. All right. Now that's out of the way, let's jump into the Bitcoin charts. So today we are going to cover what's been happening, what I'm looking for next, and how I'm positioned. So yeah, without further ado, let's jump straight in, shall we? So let's zoom into the 1 hour chart. So obviously, since we discussed last week, obviously by the time we did the video, we'd have been hovering around up here, I believe. Yep, hovering around up here, obviously after this initial pump up. Okay, and this is what we were talking through on last week's YouTube update. So if we zoom back out again here, and we'll bring up this. So we were talking about the reasons why we stopped where we did. Okay, even though obviously the larger resistance area was above, you know, around this 29 to 30k region. However, so we did have a technical reason why price stopped. Never stops at a random pivot on the market. Okay, on the chart, there's always a technical reason behind anything that happens, and anyone that thinks it's completely random, you just don't understand technical analysis. It's as simple as that. Okay, but as I said, obviously on last week's video and the week before that video, we were saying that this wasn't the strongest of resistance. However, how price came into it made it more appealing. So this is what we call context. Okay, so as we were saying on last week's video, I did open a short upon this reaction, and we were talking about these single prints. Okay, so the single prints that were created, if we zoom out of this and we'll go into the TPO chart, we'll zoom out. So what we're talking about, this is the move up on the day in question, the Tuesday, okay? And we created this batch of single prints here. And if we were to get acceptance back into those single prints, then the likelihood is we come back down to at least this T point of control, this time point of control down here, or TPOC, at least this level. And obviously we're going a little bit lower, okay? So that's the reason behind that. And obviously that's what happened in the market. So obviously the short that we did take, currently sitting on around 7R. I have skimmed off some profits off this, but I have left it open. My stops are at entry, and if we do roll over further, then happy it is. This could turn into more of a swing trade, okay? And FYI, I still hold my swing trades from up in this region here as well, okay? So that'll give you a clue of what I'm looking for. Next, moving on to Thursday. Okay, so let's zoom into the chart now. We'll get into the 15-minute chart. So obviously, this is the morning of the last YouTube update that I give to you guys. I'm coming into my group, into my members, and I'm saying that fresh area of interest above the algo pocket, at the algo pocket, both the daily and the naked point of control offer good fresh volume. So we'll take a view if and when price action reaches it to see what gives the best reaction. So what I'm referring to here is we had a daily level here, sat right on the golden pocket, and then we had a daily naked point of control up here, sat on the 786. Okay, so either one of these I was happy to add back into my shorts. Okay, if it gave a reaction. If it didn't give no reaction and price just blasted straight up, absolutely fine. I'd have been stopped out of my shorts, and I'd have looked for my next area of interest above, which, as you guys know, it's that 29 to 30k region. Okay, so that's what happened. In the end, we didn't actually get high enough. We only came up to the 0.5. Okay, we just came up into this small, inefficient move here on a lower term time frame, and then that's when we got the rollover. Okay, so a big spike up, volatile spike up, grab some liquidity above these highs, and then reversed. Okay, so if you were chasing this, then you're a fool because you were chasing into resistance. Okay, saying outside of this, plans remain the same as Tuesday's stream. The inefficient move that caused the rise still on the cards to fully retrace, in my opinion, but it doesn't have to be from here. And what I'm referring to here is that when I'm giving the update, it's roughly around here, and what I'm saying is it basically doesn't have to drop down straight away. Okay, which is why we ended up getting this, and then we got this. Okay, but either way, this inefficient move was highly likely to get retraced. Okay, we're back in that environment again, and we had this a few years ago where we get several, let's just hide this, part patterns. Okay, and this is what catches people offside. You get a thin inefficient move up, move across, and then it comes down. Move across, then moves up. And you can see here, moves across, then moves down, up, and it's back pattern after back pattern after back pattern. Okay, we often refer to this as double distribution style day. Okay. And effectively that's where we're up to. Okay, so that were Thursday's plans. Now let's zoom back into the 15-minute chart so we can see what's going on since then. Now moving into Tuesday. Okay, we had the weekend low swept. Obviously I come into the group on a Sunday night normally. I didn't this week because I was on holiday and I didn't get back until late on Sunday. But coming in Monday morning, I updated the guys. Obviously, the weekend highs and the weekend lows are always on the table. Often give a good scalp trade at least. Okay, so I'm saying on Monday we had, well, this is Tuesday's update, but I'm saying on Monday we had the weekend lows swept, okay, for a decent scalp trade. Okay, so obviously if you did catch that, that was great. Here we are. If you did catch this, then you had a very good scalp trade, in my opinion. Okay, locked in, loosely speaking, I mean that's 3.6 hour, but at the time it's more likely to be around 2 hour, 2.5 hour. Good scalp trade. But price action failed to break any structure. Now what do I mean by that? Well, quite simply, obviously this is where we swept the lows, but we didn't break any structure. Okay, if this had swept the lows and come up, then we'd have broke some structure and it would have been an opportunity to add back into any potential longs there. Okay, but at the time we're still making lower highs. Okay, now I'm saying each low looks good at the moment, but once again structure is key here, so it's a slow bleed environment in my opinion. Now what do I mean by that? Well, we're getting this slow bleed action. Now I referred to this last week. Okay, this is what I've been teaching the members recently. We're just getting this slow bleed action, so each one of these lows, even on order flow, looks good. And if you're not an experienced trader, each one of these lows you'll think, oh yeah, that's a good low, that, or I'll long that, and then it rolls over, stops you out. Oh, that's a good low, is that, I'll long that, and then the same again. But each time you just get stopped out. Okay, so the trick is to recognize a slow bleed environment and know when to sit out and know when to get involved. Okay, so that's a real key thing, that, and obviously that's what I teach the members. In fact, that's what we taught the members on 2 modules ago, how to trade these environments. Okay, when to sit on your hands and wait patiently, and then when to pull the trigger. Okay, because this catches so many people offside, and we could see it in the order flow. We could see people longing the lows and then just getting stopped out once again. Okay, so personally I'm not interested in longs until we either see a high volume flush and or a change in market structure. Okay, outside of this, Monday's plans remain unchanged. Okay, then that's coming into Wednesday. Now Wednesday we're going to zoom into the 5-minute chart for this. Okay, so I'm updating the guys through the day. Obviously we were looking for that flush. We did get that flush yesterday. Okay, so as we were down here, I'm telling the guys I'm still being patient for longs. Unless I see some strength, I'm not interested. Okay, so again, I'm just sitting back. I'm still sat in my shorts. Not interested in any fresh longs down here. Okay, now then we had the big flush down. So I'm then coming into the group saying if we start to see some strength and a market structure break on the back of this flush, I'll look for a reason to get involved. If not, I'm still being patient. Okay, so we got the flush. We took out some local highs. If we hide this again, we took out some local highs. We got the market structure change on a lower term time frame. This is okay, so therefore came back down into the golden pocket. Okay, so I was happy to take a long from that. But then as I'm updating the guys yesterday, this morning, I'm saying good bounce yesterday. I did take a scalp long from the algo pocket down here up on the structure break. However, I'm still cautious with this and I've already hit a TP1. Okay, so I hit a TP1 through the night. Stops at a entry because I'm still not comfortable with how this price action looks. Okay, now that's going to zoom out to what I'm looking for next. Before we do that, big shout out to today's video sponsor, BingX. We've talked about BingX many times on this video. BingX are a cryptocurrency exchange, but they also offer Forex, stock indices and commodities trading. Okay, and the beauty of these guys is they're no KYC, and you can also use crypto as collateral when trading other markets. So you can use USDT to trade the FX market or commodities, stock indices, whatever you want to do. Okay, and as I say, it's a no KYC exchange. If you do want to join them and you sign up with our link below, then you can get up to a $5,000 deposit bonus, and you can also get up to a $100 free trade bonus. Okay, so that's the ability to make a trade on them for $100. Okay, so therefore if you make profit on that, you take the profit on the $100, but you can't withdraw that $100 once you've been given it in the first place. Okay, so big shout out to them. Obviously, if you want access to these trading plans and to know when to sit back and not trade, obviously, we don't give out signals in the group, but obviously I do write down my thoughts as and when they are happening. Okay, if you want access to that, then first and foremost, come over to our website. The link's down in the description, spitfiretraders.com. Link to get into our free Discord is here. And then obviously, if you want access to my daily trading plans and my daily updates and over 30 educational modules, okay? In fact, I believe there's 31 now, and I've still not updated this, and I know some of you will be screaming down in the comments, tell me to update it. In fact, someone write down in the comments and remind me, update the website. Thank you. For the grand old price of £59.95 Great British Pounds, okay? So obviously, that'll get you access to not only our private Discord with our trading plans and the other members that are also sharing high quality their areas of interest on not just Bitcoin, altcoins, Forex, stocks, commodities, everything, okay? But obviously then you get access to our educational content, which is here. And the last module that we did was the Tuesday just passed. We actually just did a trading news events module, okay? So a lot of people get caught offside with news events. A lot of people don't like to trade news events because they don't understand it and they think it's quite random. But I basically share my strategies for trading news events and exactly what I do in preparation for them and when to take a trade and when not to take a trade. Okay, so obviously if you want to learn how to do that, you got this, plus access to everything else from absolute beginners through to advanced strategies. Okay, so now that plug's out of the way, let's jump in. So the reason why I'm not comfortable down here is quite simply because we've got these equal lows. Okay, never like equal lows. Okay, I don't like double tops, I don't like double bottoms, and in this case I don't like triple bottoms, I don't like triple tops, okay, especially not in crypto land. And the reason why that is because just from looking at this, you know full well that there are a load of stop losses in this region. Anyone that's long this, the stop losses down here. Anyone that's long this, the stop losses down here. Same as yesterday, a lot of people long that, okay, this front run of this level, so stop losses here. Okay, so I'm not saying it's going to happen instantly. I'm not going to say it's going to happen guaranteed at all, but at some point I expect this to be run. Okay, because just so much resting liquidity here. So that's what I'm looking for, and that's why I'm cautious on this trade that I've got here. Okay, this is why my stops are at entry, locked in to take profit 1. If I do get stopped out of that, fine. I still walk away with some profit, not loads, don't get me wrong, because it wasn't a massive trade. But then I'm prepared then for lower prices, okay? So that's something to be aware of. Okay, this low time frame, this is something to be aware of. Never a fan of double tops, double bottoms, yada, yada, yada. Just because it just leaves so much liquidity that's begging to be swept. Okay, so now we zoom out again. And this is where we throw on the historical ranges that we've been looking at, okay? Throw this one on. Throw this one on, and there we go. Okay, so as I've said for many, in fact going back, this is now going back many months now, this is the same plan, the plans don't change. Okay, so this week here only happened on a couple of exchanges, it didn't happen on all exchanges. Okay, so therefore we can pretend this week's not here for now, and let's look at what could happen. We've got this resting liquidity above this, which is effectively the old range high at 25.2. Okay, so if we do end up sweeping that liquidity, grabbing it and coming back up, effectively taking these lows and taking these lows, reclaiming with a good structure break to the upside, a bullish structure break, then I'll be looking to get involved in that. Okay, and then once again, looking to trade it back up towards this range. Do we get acceptance into this range and we can continue trading the top range? Or if not, do we get a rejection here and I've got a chance to add back into my swing shorts? Okay, or obviously if I'm not in position, then open up fresh shorts. Okay, so that's first and foremost. However, I'm still cautious about this because of this wick. Even though I just said, pretend it's not there, I'm still cautious of it. Okay, so if this doesn't give us a reaction after taking these lows and taking these lows, and it just continues to roll over, then effectively the last sticky zone we've got before a further drop is down here, okay, which is funnily enough where that wick stopped at before. Okay, so if we get some sort of reaction down here, great, I'll look for longs. If not, and it just starts to roll over, then we can start looking at lower price targets. Okay, and if we start looking at lower price targets, effectively coming back into this old consolidation here, which is effectively an old range, and then looking down towards the EQ. Now, if the EQ, and again, this is a region, gives us some sort of bullish reaction, then we can look to get involved. If it doesn't give us a bullish reaction, and bear in mind again, and I've said this many times, this isn't just going to be a case of big wicking V-shaped reversal out. Okay, we've probably got a little bit of time on our hands. Okay, it's all about how it reacts. So what's the reaction? How does it come into that level? And this is one thing that traders seem to fail to understand. Everyone wants a system where it's, if that level hit, press long, stop loss below the lows. That's why everyone wants this system, but you see, that system can work and it can give you results. Okay, but the thing about trading, and any experienced trader will tell you this, there's a lot of variables, and it's understanding these variables. This is why experience in the market is key. It's understanding how price comes into that level, what happens at that level, and then you make a decision, do I want to get involved or not? Okay, so this is where a lot of people go wrong. They just want this fixed system, place limit order here and long, and if I get stopped out, then albeit. Okay, yes, you can make money that way if you do have a solid system, but it's not how I trade. I prefer to take the higher probability setups. Okay, so that's if you get a reaction here. If you don't get a reaction here, then I'm looking at these lows here, because these lows are a prime target. If that doesn't offer me anything, then back down to range lows. Okay, quite simply, I'll just hold on to my swing shorts and see what happens down at the range lows. Okay, so that's it. Very simple. It's just level to level. If we start to move up from here, we didn't do the upside, so let's do that. If we start to move up from here and we don't get a sweep of these lows, okay, I'd be very surprised for one, but it can happen. It's trading, anything can happen. And we start getting back into this range from here, then that's fine. Then first and foremost, on the way up, we'll be looking at these highs. Okay, it's a natural target. You probably get some sort of pullback along those highs. If you don't, then we're coming back up into this 29 to 30k zone. Okay, if we do come back up into this, then I'll be looking for fresh shorts once again. Again, if it gives me the reaction. If it don't, then I'm going to look back up towards highs and then potentially higher, like I've said in previous videos. I'll leave a link to previous videos at the end of this one. Okay, but either way, for now, we are still in a downtrend, and you've got to pay attention to that. Okay, we've not broken any higher time frame structure. Okay, yes, if we zoom out to the weekly, still technically, again, if we're ignoring this wick and looking at other exchanges, then still technically we are in a slight uptrend. Monthly, it's the same as well. Okay, even though we have done this could be a complex low, so I'm not reading too much into it, but as it stands right now, level to level trading, daily, we are heading down. Okay, until we start to change that, I'm not going to get too excited. Right, that'll do. If you learned something today, hit that like button. If you're not subscribed, then consider subscribing. And until next time, gang, as you were, bye-bye.